Hello, today I'm showing you guys how you can make your own water irrigation system from water bottles, and I'm going to explain to you how they actually work. But there's quite a bit of science behind it, so let's get to it. So the way this works is through a word called osmosis. Osmosis is basically a way of water traveling from one side to another through a medium, which is our straw in this case. I say it's very scientific, so if you want to go and Google it to understand it better, you can. But there's also another way in which you guys might recognise this method. So another way you guys might have seen this method done before is probably at school with using a water walking method. So what happens is you've got 3 different glasses or more, and you join them up by using tissue, and slowly the water will go from one to another until they're all basically the same height. This is basically the technique we're going to be using with our water irrigation system. And basically what's happening is the water will get down to a certain level, the same level as the string, and then it will stop. But all the water from the top of it will slowly come out and drip onto the plant. So that does mean you're limited on how much water you can use with this, but it is still a good way of watering your plants when you're not at home, or if you're going on holiday, or during a drought or a very hot season. It is a very good idea to use this. So hopefully you understand the science behind it and how this works. So I'm going to show you how I actually use it in my garden and how to make it. Now, there are a couple ways we can use this method. We can use it like this, where we have the string over the top of the plant pot, so slowly the water will fall into the plant pot over it. Or if the plant pot is too high like this one, what you can do is actually put it on the plant pot itself. A better example would be to put it in a pot like this. While that is slowly dripping into the plant pot, what could end up happening is this pot could end up becoming unstable and the wind can end up pushing it over. What I recommend is planting the bottle into the ground a little bit so it won't be as flimsy, or to put some stones in the bottle itself so it should still give it a bit more weight so the wind shouldn't be able to push it over. Right, so this method is actually a very good method. I have been trialing it for a couple of weeks to try and make sure it works, and basically depending on how much water you want coming out depends on the size of the fabric you're using. If you only want a little bit of water dripping out, use a smaller type of fabric. So use a string if you want it to come out slowly, but if you want it to come out a bit quicker, use a shoelace or a different type of fabric that absorbs water quite well. Now, this one I set up here, it's got a shoelace from my old shoe that I had. I tested this for 24 hours to see how much water comes out of it, and this is the result. So if we measure how much water has come out, so it's just about 50 mil. So what that means is in 24 hours, 20 mil has come out of this bottle and ended up in my glass, which would effectively be the plant pot. So it's a very slow process, but it's enough water to be able to water your plants when you're not there, enough that it won't end up drowning them or giving them root rot. So now I'm going to show you guys how I actually make these pots, because they are quite simple to do. It's very good to do because you are recycling the plastic bottles. To make it, all we need is these simple items. One is a bottle. It doesn't matter how big the bottle, you can have a massive bottle if you wanted to, because the bottle size doesn't determine how fast the water comes out. All it is it determines how much water you can have in there to spread out over how long it takes for it to drain. You need a thread, and like I said before, depending on how big your thread is how fast the water comes out. So the thicker the thread, the faster the water drips out, the faster your plant gets watered. You want a way of putting some holes in the plastic bottle. Don't worry, you haven't got a drill or any drill bits. You could end up using a knife or a soldering iron or something to basically pierce the bottle. So if you've got anything at home, then yeah, try and use that. You want a straw to put into the bottle. Try not to use paper because it will end up coming soggy, so try and find a plastic or metal one. And then lastly is some sealer, silicone, or you can use glue. Depends what you got at home. It can be any of them, because as long as it's able to dry off and create a watertight seal, that's all that matters. Right, so the first thing we want to do is make some holes at the top of the lid of the bottle, because when the water is coming out of the bottle, what we don't want to happen is the bottle to start sucking in like a juice carton. We want it so the air can still go in, so the bottle won't end up misshapen. So you simply just put a hole at the top, like so. So next you want to drill a hole for where your straw is going to go inside the bottle. Preferably you want it as high as you can, and at a little angle so the straw can come off a little bit of an angle as well. Hey, there we go. Just like that. Now that we know that the straw fits in the hole, we now want to fit our string inside of it. Nice little trick is to try and find something really nice and long that will fit inside the straw, so you can put the thread on it and then you're able to push it all the way through. And then there you go, the string is through the straw. And now we just add it to our bottle. Alright, so now this is the part where you want to adjust how much string you want hanging out. Like I said, the lower the string, the more water it's going to use inside the bottle. So with it being here, it's not going to use this much of the water, but it should still use the rest of this. So this is kind of perfect for what I want. Alright, so the last thing we do is basically put glue or sealer around the top where the straw went into the bottle. Now, you can leave this be, you don't have to do it, because you can then take the straw back out if you want to adjust your string. But if you wanted to glue it, the main benefit is you're able to put water basically to the very top of the bottle. Otherwise the water will end up dripping here, so you're only effectively using the water from the bottom of the string to the basically the hole where you've put it for the straw. So this is just an added option on what you can do to it. There you go, that is all now sealed up. Hasn't got to look pretty, all it's got to do is try and make it watertight. And now we've just got to let that dry and then we can fill it up. Alright, it's time to fill this bottle up and test it. There we go, just put some water in it. So now we've got it filled up, now we play the waiting game. Now we just got to wait, because the water has got to travel up the straw, through the thread, and then back down until it starts dripping off the end. This can take a while because the water has got to travel all the way up. There is a way you can speed it up, and that's by sucking on the end of the straw to bring the water up there. But I'm not going to do that on camera because that looks a bit sus. So literally you just got to wait now for the water to travel up and be patient because it does take a while. But once it's going, then it's all good. Alright, so I've left this now for about an hour, and as you can see the water is starting to come down now. And the glass has got a bit of water at the bottom of it, so this has worked. So yeah, I'm really chuffed about that actually worked. And like I said, this is a simple way of doing this. You could make this yourself and make it more advanced and basically do it a better way, but this is just a simple technique that I can use when it gets a bit warmer, and if I'm traveling I can still have it to water my plants. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could experiment and you could end up putting like a funnel on top, so when it rains it should top up the bottle as well, because at the moment I got to top it up manually where the rain could end up doing it itself. I'd like to see if you guys can experiment with it and see how you guys get on, and if you do get on very well, leave comments in the comment section on what you guys have done differently or what I can do differently to improve this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.